Welcome everyone to the July meeting of the koha-US acquisition SIG meeting. And I wanted to first of all promote the koha-US conference, which is in not that long. It's September 2 through 5, I think. Yeah. In Providence, Rhode Island. Just encourage everybody. I think, oh, I should double check this, but I was led to believe that the registration, venue, merchandise, contact us. I don't see it here. Anyway, the schedule should be posted soon. I was led to believe it was going to be posted on Friday, but I don't see it there yet. I know some municipalities or organizations need to see the agenda before they approve the travel. So that should be coming fairly soon on the koha-us.org website. And then so last meeting, we talked about topics that thanks Charlie, posting the link in the chat. So last time we talked about getting back to basics and just kind of starting from the ground level and going through everything and hoping that people with experience could help people that maybe don't have as much experience. And we will go through that process. Before I get started on that, I wanted to ask if anybody had specific questions that they wanted to ask that we could talk about first, or maybe we can talk, make a point of highlighting that particular part of the acquisitions basic setup.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Danae. I have a I know you guys, this might not even pertain to this meeting, but I know you guys are talking about the acquisitions 2.0, and I missed some of those meetings, but I would like to be able to have some way of when we're in our to do a batch fund modification, when because sometimes when we're ordering, we might select the wrong fund account. And if it's just 10 books, it's easy to change them one by one. But if it's like 100, there needs to be a better way to change it to the correct fund.
Okay, so batch fund modification.
Yeah,
So once you've got your basket all set, and then you realize, oh, oops.
Yes.
And then you'd like to be able to just change the fund.
Yes, I'm kind of like to do them all because most likely they're all going to be wrong.
Oh, okay.
Because like when you're ordering, I can select the fund, and then everything that goes in the basket will have that fund. And if I select the wrong one, then it's like, oh great, now I got to change it all before I even submit it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we can mention that. I'm not sure if that's been addressed already or not, but I can definitely mention that in one of the upcoming meetings for the 2.0.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Anything else?
Just a quick question about something we've been seeing, and it's involves EDI orders
Okay.
to a particular vendor, which about 6 weeks ago we started having a problem with them canceling orders pretty quickly. We'd send a basket of ads and they'd all be canceled pretty pretty suddenly.
Oh,
And I'm wondering if this is just that vendor changing something in its system with problems they're ironing out, or if anybody else has seen this and heard anything. But it's Ingram. We do a lot of EDI ordering through Ingram. In a couple of cases, they also we sent a basket of like new nonfiction books that should be available, and all those were canceled. So has anybody seen anything like that?
Chip, are they actually not available in Ingram when you check, or are they in fact available?
Well, they're like upcoming books, or sometimes they're ads and they seem to be available, but Ingram might have a problem with their system transferring the order from one warehouse to another. That's a possibility.
mhm.
But yeah,
And
that yeah.
we use Ingram, that they're our main vendor,
Mhm.
and we have not had that issue.
Okay, that's good to hear. So
Mhm.
okay, yeah, we're emailing Ingram, and yeah, so all right. I just want to check with folks. And as far as ordering ads, I've heard that with EDI, you want to make sure that the first ISBN in the record matches the ISBN you're ordering.
Is this,
And
oh,
one yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to verify that's still what people are doing. So you have to go into the existing record and move up or add an ISBN at the top with the latest one.
can I clarify, are the materials you're ordering manga or like graphic novels and stuff like that that have like the same ISBN but multiple volumes kind of thing?
No,
Like
this is happening
serialized
with other
records kind of?
things. Yeah. This is happening with like Junie B. Jones and Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I'm not yeah, we don't have those in like a serial record format.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
Um, yeah, the first option that you mentioned is probably the best. You have to make sure that it's the first ISBN.
yeah.
It's a pain unless you talk with your vendor about like how to transfer that over. What we have an issue with before was transferring over manga. So we started using copy numbers
Hmm.
in our record matching rules so that it pulls over the correct volume numbers when we're ordering. And it's started working for us, and we're doing this with Baker and Taylor. So if you want to, I don't know if that'll work for you, but I'm more than happy to share what we requested from them and how we set it up on the back end, if anything, if you want to meet up with me
Oh yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah, okay, great. That'd be great. Appreciate
Cool.
it. All right.
Hey, Chip,
Thanks.
I'll also add to that. With Ingram in particular, I've had situations where the 10-digit ISBN was the first one, not the 13-digit, and those canceled. I think Ingram is
Oh,
better now.
okay.
But if you're having trouble with things auto canceling that you're doing EDI, I would definitely try to make sure the 13-digit of the item from iPage that you're ordering is the very first one in the record, not the 10-digit one.
Okay. Okay. That sounds good. Thank you. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. Thanks, Marcy. I hadn't heard that before. I don't know.
Is
Okay.
anyone noticing? I had a question on EDI ordering as well, and this could just be me. I thought it was like a double click. So in other words, you have everything in your basket in Koha, and then there's the drop down menu, like it says create EDI order or whatever that button says, and there's the drop down, and then you pick your account, you know,
Mhm.
whichever account that would be for the vendor, and then it automatically goes through. And it kind of makes me nervous because we have a lot of EDI accounts. I'm like, oh, what if I pick the wrong one? And it just automatically goes through. And I thought there was like a checks and balances before where you pick the account and then say yes. Does anyone know about that, or was it always like that?
I think it was always like that. It's different now with the last upgrade because you can see the drop down while you're still live in the basket. It doesn't take you to a separate pop-up window. But I can't tell you the number of times I've backed out of that step to go back to look at what account I was actually ordering in. And then after you select that account and click OK or whatever, then it goes to close the basket, but it doesn't confirm what account you used or what basket you were in. It just says, are you ready to close the basket?
I don't know if this is related or not, but I've also had issues, and this could be local security, firewall stuff. It could be Cloudflare, but I'll open up a page in Koha and not all of the buttons will appear. If there's an element that needs to load in, like the what you see is what you get editor is a good example. I couldn't get that to pop in right away. And I've gotten to various places of the interface, and I'm like, I think there should be a button there, and I hit refresh, and then it's there. So
Mm.
Yeah,
All
we're
right.
still testing out Cloudflare. We were newly migrated over to Cloudflare, so we're experiencing a little bit of slowness with our check-ins and checkouts and stuff like that. We're hoping it'll improve, but it's still the same as before we did the migration. So I think we need to investigate a little bit more to find out what's going on.
We're experiencing the same, Charlie.
Christy, if you hear anything, could you reach out to me by any chance? I'll drop my email in the chat, just in case.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We've been on Cloudflare for a while. We seem to be doing okay, but we've had this issue since before we were on Cloudflare where at 5:15 on Sunday, everything comes to a grinding slowness and will be that way till we close at 6. It just like clockwork. Don't know what, you know, if it's our infrastructure, if it's something on the server, if it's, you know, no idea. We've been working on this for months and trying to figure it out. But yeah, 5:15 on Sunday, bam, everything just comes to a slowdown. Yay. Okay, any other questions before we start looking at the basics?
I have one small question that could be just a yes or no. Has anybody developed a shortcut or a way to cancel individual orders without loading the entire basket? Because I had a year-end rollover and I had to go do some cleanup, and I'm putting in these, you know, huge orders, and I want to find the one thing that the vendor couldn't supply and cancel it. And it's a lot of clicking, and there might just be, no, that doesn't work that way. And I think that's probably the answer, but I was just going to check.
Yeah, we do a lot of our when I was still doing it, I did a lot of my editing on MARC Edit, the tool, before I did any kind of limited upload, I guess you could say. But no, I don't think there is something like that, unless things have changed since I've uploaded stuff.
No, and this is specifically the order was placed already. It's through EDI, and the vendor said, hey, it's out of print. We can't get it, whatever. Canceled the order. and I want to go in and remove it so it doesn't show up as encumbered. And then the only way I can do that is to pull up the basket with the item in it, go filter to get to the proper line item, and then hit the cancel and delete from catalog button, which is very nice. I love that button. I'm just wondering, is there a more direct way to get to that button?
You don't have a search feature within the acquisitions?
No,
The
we
basket?
do. It just takes a while to get it has to load up. So,
Oh,
like I said, minor thing. I don't want to derail us.
Okay. All right, thanks. All right. There are no other questions. We can start looking at some of the basics of koha, koha acquisitions. So one thing, I'm gonna share my screen and then just share a couple of resources that are out there for everybody, and then look at some of the basic setup. You know, you've got to go to the system preferences. There aren't that many. We'll quick go through those, and then just the admin stuff that you need to have set up. And then we'll do like a budget and a fund, and just, you know, as questions arise, we'll just keep going until we run out of time. So let's see, share screen. Okay, so does everybody see the koha-US screen at this point? Okay, so this is the koha-US website. If you've never been here before, koha-us.org. And here you can find the information on the conference, but you can also find lots of other things. There's a link to all the special interest groups here. Under Learn, there's a quick reference guide. And under this, there is a guide or link to the koha new user guide. So this is not acquisition specific, but it can help get you to places where you can ask questions or read information like the manual, that kind of thing. So there is a link here to the Mattermost chat where you can ask questions. Everybody's really nice. Nobody's going to make fun of you if you put a question out there. It's a very friendly environment. The mailing lists for the koha community in general, and then the koha-US stuff. There's a mailing list, there's videos, there's this quick reference guide that we're looping in. Here are all the special interest groups. There's three regional mailing lists. And then there is Bugzilla, which is a great time suck if you ever want to get in there and start searching and finding out what's going on in the koha community, as far as developments and fixes and that kind of thing. And then there's the koha-US bug tracker, which is basically so koha-US each year sets aside money to go towards developments for koha, the community. The koha-US membership votes on those each year on what we're going to spend our money on. And then this is a tracker to see where those particular developments are in their process. And then the most important to me is the koha manual. And this is where you can get a lot of good information. So that will take you here. And in here, you can see that the manual is available in a large number of languages. This is the 2311. Yeah. I want 24, but older. Oh, see, I read that really fast and thought it was 24. But this, so koha-community.org, koha-25-05-00-released. This is the latest version of the manual. And this will, new features that are coming in. Acquisitions has a couple of new features. The migrate vendors to view, that's kind of a behind the scenes thing, where we as end users probably won't notice the difference very much, but it will make development much easier for the developers. There's a couple enhancements that add the ability to mark a suggestion as available from the suggestions management page. Nick and Jesse did a Monday Minutes on this one that you can find. And then this one, Edifact errors should log in a staff accessible location. And then the last one is add the option to define a basket name. These two, I think, are more relevant to Europe EDI Edifact stuff than it is applicable to us. But that being said, no, that's the same thing. Okay. So we will just go with this 2311 version. Oh, okay. So that's just maybe named incorrectly. I don't know. So in here, you can see all of the high level headers within the document. And there is a section in here on acquisitions. So just kind of keep this in our back pocket. It's a great place to go if you're not sure of, you're filling out a form and you're not sure what the next thing is that you need to fill in. This is a great place to go and read up on it a little bit and find out what's going on. So I do have the koha-US demo server open here. Let me just go back to the home. And so just wanted to look at a couple of things. So there's the Koha administration. If we click on that, there's a couple places. I mentioned system preferences. So if we just go into system preferences, this will have an acquisitions subset in here. And there are a few, not a huge number of system preferences as far as some of the areas go. The Edifact, I don't want to really get into that because that's not really basic stuff, but here's where you enable the Edifact stuff if you want to import your invoices and mapping stuff for Edifact. What I thought would be more interesting, and we can go through this fairly quickly, unless somebody has a question, of course. So the first thing is when to create an item. So you can say that you want an item to be created when an order is placed, when the item is cataloged, or when you're receiving the order. So I don't know, we have it set for placing an order. That way we can set things up so that people could put holds on stuff. If there's no items attached, I don't know if you can put a hold on something that has no items. I don't think so. So that's what we always select. Does anybody here have anything different? Like, do you, on receiving the order? And basically cataloging is just the catalogers do it when they catalog it. But that can be, this is the default behavior and it can be changed per basket. So if you have a specific basket that you'd like to not have the orders or the items created, you can do that when you order a basket.
Excuse me, Rhonda, could I interject really quick?
Sure.
I just wanted to, I was tuned out for a second. Are you in the administration
Yes.
module? Okay.
Yes. So this is the system preferences.
Okay.
For its administration, system preferences, acquisitions.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. So then the next one is to enable the ability to upload and attach arbitrary files to invoices. This is either a do or a don't. So based on if you want to attach, maybe you want to attach a copy of the check, to an invoice, then make this do and you'd be able to do that. I'm just going to keep moving through here. If you have questions, stop me. The AC items set subfield when receipt is canceled. So that's a mouthful right there. So if you cancel the receipt of an item, the items subfields, if you want the item subfield to reflect those that it's been canceled, this is where you set things up. So this cryptic thing that says 7 = 4, that really means something. 7 is in the item record, it's the not for loan field subfield. So what this is saying is for the not for loan subfield, set that to 4. And I think I went in here, authorized. So this is where you would find what that means or which one you want. So go into authorized values and find not for loan or not loan. And in here, we have our different authorized values. So 4 in this system is canceled. So what that will do is set that item's value to canceled. The acquisition items set subfield when received. Yes, Charlie.
Sorry, I have a quick question. Why do you have that? We don't have that field. I was wondering, like, what was is it just for staff to know if it's been canceled or something? It's just like,
Yeah.
Is there another use for it besides just making it clear that you're not going to get the record?
Well, yeah. So if for us, we don't have like a canceled thing. Holly, correct me if I'm wrong. I think when something gets canceled, we just delete it,
Yeah.
because we're not going to get it. But you may cancel it because you received it, it was damaged, you're going to reorder it. So
Okay.
you don't want it to reflect that you've got it in-house at that point. So that's the one time where we've got ours set to ordered. I think it will set it back to ordered.
Gotcha.
And then people won't think. So in my mind, these two right here should be reversed just logically. So upon receiving items, update their subfields if they were created when placing an order. So when you receive something, -2, let's go look there. -2 is in processing. So you've got it set to -2, and then you open it up and you're like, oh, something's wrong. They printed the page is up, the cover's upside down on this one. We need to get a new copy of it. So let's set it back. Let's cancel this receipt and set it back to ordered or whatever it is. And then it won't show in the catalog that it's in processing and sitting there
Gotcha,
for
thank you.
however long.
Yeah, I
That's the
think
one. Go ahead.
it seems more like it should say unreceived instead of canceled, because canceled has a specific word in an acquisitions context.
Yes. Yeah, that is a good point. Yeah. Undo the receive like we do the, but yeah, if it's canceled, we just delete it. That's, yeah. Okay. Acquisitions default email address. So this is if you want a different email for your acquisitions, orders and things like that, instead of using the one for the whole Koha system. Just put it in here. And then acquisitions default reply to, same kind of thing. Use the reply to use this reply to email when sending acquisition orders. So you can have that set up to, a specific person versus the general, ours is, rrpls@roundrocktexas.gov, which is something that, reference staff monitor, so they wouldn't care if they got a reply from an order. ACK view baskets, so show baskets in system regardless of owner. The other options are from staff members library or created or managed by staff members. So this is, a way to limit people's access to baskets if you've got multiple branches or, consortiums or things like that. And then ACK warn on duplicate invoice is warn or do not warn when the librarian tries to create an invoice with a duplicate number. Usually you want the invoice numbers to be unique. So that's there. Basket confirmations. When closing or reopening a basket, do not ask for confirmations or always ask for confirmations. When you're first getting started, maybe asking for confirmations might be a good idea, but after a while, you get used to it. You can get rid of that. Calculate fund values, including tax. So either include or exclude the tax calculations depending on whether you have to pay tax or not. Cancel orders in closed baskets. This is allow or don't allow canceling order lines in closed baskets. I think this is fairly new. When I was looking at this, I thought this would maybe come in the last couple of releases, where before, if you're going to cancel something, you always had to open the basket first, cancel it, and then close the basket. Now, if you set this to do or allow, you can cancel it when the basket's closed.
And what is the benefit to how do I want to say this? It seems to me like I should be able to cancel a line item order in a basket, even if it's closed, without reopening it. So that seems like it would be a lot easier, because currently I have to reopen the basket to cancel them, and we've been getting quite a few cancellation notices lately.
Oh.
So because we use Baker and Taylor for our primary vendor, so enough said about that. But yeah, so would there be any benefit to not allowing canceling an order in a closed basket? That I can't see one.
I can't think of one.
Okay.
If you're going to go in there, open it, cancel it, close it.
Okay.
Or just cancel it. If you've got somebody that is maybe new or something like that, maybe that might be a reason. But in general, if you're comfortable, I don't think there's a reason.
Monique, do you have that set to allow right now so you don't have to open the basket?
It's set to don't allow right now. And
Mhm.
yeah, I've never seen this this option before, so maybe we can talk about it or just enable it on the test server, if anything, and just kind of play with it a little bit, Monique.
Yeah, I would be in favor. That would make my of changing that, because that would make my job a lot easier. I don't have access to the administration module, so
Mhm.
but
I-
I would put in my vote for that.
I turned this on as soon as it was available. It was the first upgrade we did, and it's been amazing. This is kind of the same question I was asking earlier, because I still have to click through a couple different screens to get to the cancellation, and I was hoping I could avoid a few loading screens, but yeah, it's nice.
Mhm.
I concur. It's my favorite recent improvement to the acquisitions
Mhm.
module. The other thing, if you have to go in and manually close the basket and you forget, as one might be want to do, that means the invoices can't be received. So it's
Mhm.
kind of a really critical thing that that basket stays closed or
Mhm.
gets closed manually.
Okay. Consider myself convinced. I've just changed it. We're now allowed.
Woo!
All right. Okay. That was here. Okay, good. Then claims BCC copy. Don't send or send a blind copy to logged in users when sending serial or acquisition claims notices. Just depend on your workflow. You can set that however you want. Currency format, display currencies in the following format. There's a couple in here. The system has it set to US dollars. Okay, so this is purchase suggestions, which is part of acquisitions. So choose email address that new purchase suggestions will be sent to. And then that's, especially helpful, I think, if you don't get a lot of purchase suggestions and you don't want to be checking it all the time. If you have one point person that gets an email when one shows up, that's really helpful. And then the options here are none, the email address of the library, the email address for suggestions, which if you choose that, then you've got to fill out this other part here, put something in there. And then the last one was Koha admin email. So you can set that up, one of 4 different ways. So MARC fields to order. This is when you're getting MARC records from your vendor. You can map the information that they have for, what does it say? Price, replacement price, quantity, budget code, discount, and then sort 1 and sort 2 are ones that you can define yourself. You can set the mappings up here so that when the MARC record comes in from the vendor, it will get mapped to the right field in Koha. And then the MARC item fields to order just basically gives you a whole lot more options for mapping stuff. So here you can, if you've got a multi-branch system and you've got, you just ordered 12 Dogmans and you want 3 to go to North Branch, 3 to go to East Branch, 3 to go to South, and 3 to go to Central. You can set that all with grids from your vendor. You can set that all up and it'll get transferred into your item records properly. So this has come in since we joined Koha, and it's very nice to have the ability to set that up. And I know for big branches and consortiums, this is a must-have. for them to do like EDI ordering and stuff like that. MARC ordering automation. So this is enable, disable automatic order line creation from MARC records. Not even sure what that means. If anybody else does, happy to hear.
Sorry, I missed, which one are we on?
The MARC ordering automation. So disable or enable automatic order line creation from MARC records.
So I have a comment on that, and it's been a while, so you'll have to excuse the fogginess, but I wrote my vendor, it looks like back in December 2024, and I said that I just learned that it's no longer required for libraries using Koha to upload vendor MARC records. It can be done automatically, and it relates to bug. It says 34355, and I will post that on the chat. But it says that you need to establish a secure SFTP connection in order for the feature to work. And at that time, Baker and Taylor, Ingram, and Midwest were currently utilizing the option, and Brodart was in the process. So
Yeah.
let me post that on the chat, the bug.
Oh, is that related to if you're not using EDI? They added that function to, yeah, it's all pretty hazy because we don't use it.
Didn't they show this at the conference at your library? Because I think it was the step where you download the MARC records from the vendor and then upload it into acquisitions to make the order. Like that part could just happen in the background through an FTP server. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's all starting to make sense now. But yeah, I think that's right. It'd be really helpful if they would like put a little note in here, added at this release, so that you get some kind of time frame. But oh well.
Sorry, to clarify, is this currently a bug, so it's not working right now, or can I, like, I'm not that I'm going to do anything right now. I'm just wondering if this is available, or should I even pursue this kind of thing?
It's available through the vendors that I mentioned, the Baker and Taylor, Ingram, and Midwest Tape. I sent an email to the vendor Brodart this morning to see if there was an update, because it said it was expected in first quarter of 2025. And then John's correct. It would be so you don't have to upload those marks into Koha. It would be automatic when you're ordering via EDI. That's my understanding.
Ooh. Okay. Thank you.
So
All
you said
vendors we use.
Yeah.
you said Midwest Tape, not
Yeah.
Midwest
Correct.
Library. Okay, there's two Midwest. I was just wondering which one it was.
Yeah. And I may be confused here too, but I thought this was for people that weren't doing EDI ordering. So that might need, I don't know, I could be wrong. But I think it was Clams that kind of pushed this one through, but I don't think anybody from Clams is on this call right now. And then, so we'll move on from there. We'll figure something out. Order price rounding, don't round or round to the nearest cent. Determines whether full precision values or rounded values should be used in price calculations. Again, your library's preference. Purge suggestions older than. So keep accepted or rejected suggestions for a period of fill in the blank, some number of days. Example 30. That's purgation. Is that a word? Purgation? I don't know. Of suggestions for those older than 30 days. You do need a cron job to make this one work. We have it set up and I can't remember what the date is, but I think it's like 6 months, whatever, however many days that is. Next one is tax rates. Tax rates are, and then you enter it in. Enter it in numerical form versus percentage. And then the database will only accept values up to 4 decimal precision, and vendor tax rate information may need updating if tax rate values are removed. Okay. And then unique item fields, the following database columns should be unique in an item. So barcode is obviously one. I don't know if anybody else has anything else that they have unique. And then use ACT framework for bibliorecords. So this is either use or don't use the framework ACT for bibliographic records fields. So there's a MARC acquisitions framework that's called ACT, and then you can decide if you want to use it or not when you bring your records in. And then this is for printing.
Rhonda, can I ask about your value in tax rates? You currently have it to 0. Could I ask why?
Yeah, well, first of all, this isn't our system. This is the test system.
Right.
But ours also has 0 in it.
Okay.
Because libraries do not have to pay taxes in Texas.
Yeah, we have ours blank. I wonder if it behaves the same way if there is a value or if there isn't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
Charlie, we have values in that because we actually have various tax rates in that, but because we apply the taxes to certain, like invoices or orders.
right. I'm gonna have to look into this a little bit more. Thank you. There's so many things that
Yeah.
this is great.
Yeah, when you first get in, I just remember being totally overwhelmed by all the system preferences and everything like that. It's kind of nice to sit down sometimes, after there's been a few releases, just to see, oh, what's here, what's not, just to kind of get caught up. And then the other thing that you want to do is not system preferences. We need to go back to, this is administration, and there is a section over here on just acquisition parameters. So first one is currency and exchange rates. You need to set this up. I think if you're a Bywater customer, they set it up, with US dollars as the default. But you could have, was that Indian rupee? I don't know. As your other option. And then, okay, so EDI accounts is, like I said, I don't want to get into that unless we have time, which we've only got 10 minutes left. So, but I wanted to do budgets. So this is, like I said, the Koha demo server. It's got some budgets in. If you're brand new, there will be nothing here. There will be nothing under active budgets, and there will be nothing under inactive budgets. What you would need to do is use this button up here to create a new budget. Excuse me. You put in a start date, an end date, and a description. The start date is for your information only. There's nothing in the system that prevents you from using this before the start date, or there's nothing in the system that prevents you from using it after the end date. This is just for your reference. And then the description, again, is for your reference. The total amount is the total amount of your budget for whatever funds you're going to add into here. You need to have a number that's larger than what the total of all your funds are, because otherwise it will yell at you. And then you have the option to make the budget active, which if it's the first time that you're doing something, it's a good idea. Make the budget active and then lock the budget. This prevents you from adding funds and sub-funds and all that. So this is not the time to lock your budget. You might want to do it after you get everything set up so that you've got things, they won't change on you. Is that pretty straightforward? The more interesting thing and the thing that will happen one time, you'll be new once, but each year after that, you will need to create a new budget for the next year. And Koha has things in place to make that easier, you know, to duplicate what you had before, to allow you to roll things over that were ordered last year but never came in, so that they get rolled into your new budget. If you're so lucky that if you have money that wasn't spent and your ruling body allows you to just roll that money into next year's budget and you get to spend it, you can do that. Or if you're like us, it's like use it or lose it. No rolling funds into the next year from what you didn't spend. So there are two ways to duplicate a budget. There's duplicate here. And then if we go into the budget, there is under edit, there's a duplicate budget here. So one of two ways you can go in and do it. So let's just look at the budget that we have here. I just picked this one. So this one has two funds, and it's got the amounts. It's got one thing ordered on the adult fiction account. Nothing spent in the other ones. But we'll duplicate this one. So you hit duplicate and it brings up a form. Again, start date, end date, description. So I will just say this is July 1 to June 30th. And this is 25, 26. Okay. Now, you can change amounts of your budget by a certain percentage, either negative or positive. If you got a bump, let's say 10% increase, you can just enter that here and it will automatically update that for you. If amounts changed round to a multiple of whatever, amounts will be rounded down. So if you want to keep it to a multiple of 100, yeah, let's do 10. Because I don't think they're very big numbers. And then since we're duplicating the budget, and this is a new one, if you're doing this ahead of when the year starts, you might not want to make this an active budget, or you might. If you're doing it like the day before it goes active, mark it as the original one as inactive, because you won't need it anymore. And then in the case of you've had radical changes to all of your budget items and you just want to start from scratch, you can set all the funds to 0. And then we click save. And we've got our new budget here. And we can see that we have a 10% increase in our budget over the previous year. And then if we go in and edit it, whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. I do this every time. Click on that. We can see that we've got the same two funds. What we will tend to do at this point is go in and edit these and say this is for 26 instead, and submit. And then edit this one too, just for completeness. This is 26. That way you can see what you've got, but you'll notice the stuff that we ordered, that was ordered on the previous budget isn't reflected here. So in order to get that, we need to go not to the funds, but to the budget. How do I get back to the budget? Oh, let's just go here. So we go back here and we can, we need to close the budget. Oh, wrong one. We need to close the old budget. So we go into close and we see that we have unreceived orders from the following funds that will be moved. So Fund 42 and Fund 44, we've got 4 unreceived things in the adult fiction thing. Now it's asking, where shall I move these to? So we say the 25, 26. And one thing is very important, we learned this the hard way, is to make sure that all of your baskets are closed at this point. Very important, because if you have unreceived stuff in an open basket, it will not get moved. And then you'll be scratching your head wondering why it didn't get moved. Been there, done that.
Excuse me, Rhonda, is this the new feature? Like, you know, most of us are use it or lose it, but if we have standing orders, is this where we can transfer them, you know, over to the new year and then just use our new budget for those without canceling?
Yeah, if you've got them in your ordered column in your current budget, and this has always been here. But if you've got stuff like standing orders, like for us, it's the adult fiction is what we end up ordering way ahead. Then they can just roll into next year's budget this way. So does that help? Does that answer your?
Yeah, it's just that right now it's attached, all those orders are attached to a fund, let's say adult fiction 22. So
Right.
if you're saying roll that over to 25, 26, is the fund name now going to change to adult fiction 26, or is it still attached to that fund?
No, it'll roll. So let's look at this. Move remaining unspent funds. This is where if you are use it or lose it, you don't check that box if you can take next year's money. So let's move the unreceived orders, and then it always gives you this little pop-up and says, hey, do you know what you're doing? You've chosen to move all unreceived orders from this budget year to that budget year. This action cannot be reversed. Do you wish to continue? Okay. Yes, we do wish to continue. So we see that order, pardon me, these 4 things have been moved to the adult fiction 26. So if we go back to our budgets and look at 26 now, 25, 26, we'll see this $72 is now there. And if we this isn't the right place to do this. I think if we go to acquisitions home and scroll down here and find this. Okay, here's our $72 that are ordered. And if we look at this, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Here, this one. We can see that it is now on the adult fiction 26 fund. It's assigned to that fund.
Thank you. So really quick, I know we're at the end of the meeting, but there was something that you put in, Rhonda, that you wanted to be able, I thought there was something, a request you put in for a change
Yeah.
in acquisitions for the budget, so we can roll things over. So I didn't know we had this feature, because otherwise I wouldn't cancel at the end of the year. I could just roll them over into a new fund, which I wasn't aware of. So what change are you proposing?
Okay, so what I was asking them to do is to be able to, instead of, wait till the end of the year and roll it over, actually assign, as we're ordering things, and we know, like for us, our fiscal year is October 1st to September 30th. So if we're ordering something ahead, standing order wise, and we know that it's not going to come out till November, we wanted a way to assign that to next year's budget now, like when we're ordering it, so that when we look at what's left in our budget for this year, we have a more accurate number of what's left in our budget, instead of having to go through and subtract whatever from, like, oh, this one isn't coming in. Okay, so that means we've got that much more money. Oh, this one isn't coming in. Okay, so that, instead of having to wait till the end of the year and then see, and then it's too late to spend that money, unless
Hey,
you do it
Ron.
the day before and run to Barnes and Noble.
Hey, Rhonda.
Yeah.
We do accomplish that by using a unique fund code for our standing orders each year. So right now our budget year is the same as yours. It starts October 1st, and we use SO 26 for the ones that we want to hit next year's inactive budget. Because we use EDI, Koha's not smart enough to know where to put it. If that fund code isn't unique.
Right.
And then after I close out this year's budget, I go in and append 25 to all my old funds.
Yep.
And
Okay.
also the ability to roll your orders from one budget year to the next.
Mhm.
I can't do that because all my fund codes are not the same because of that standing order. So I have to, if I have orders that didn't arrive, I have to manually change those fund codes after I start, if it's a standing order.
Yeah.
For my regular funds, I think I still have to point them at the right budget manually.
Yeah, so that's one thing I didn't explicitly say, was if you want to be able to roll from one fund to the next, your fund codes need to match. See how this 21, 22, the fund codes were identical. The way the fund names are where we can, visually distinguish which is who. But what you're saying, Marcy, is what we ran into, is if we just leave all the fund codes alone and then order, we say, oh, we want this one to go to adult fiction 26, whatever adult fiction thing that we're ordering ahead of time. If we want that to go to 26, then we need to, then it's a flip of the coin, which fund it will actually get charged to in Koha.
Yep, found that out the hard way.
Yes. So the update or the enhancement that I was asking for, which I just poked them again this week, would be so that with EDI ordering, we could leave all of our fund codes alone and then be able to do this rollover thing, and order ahead and have Koha know which account when it comes in, when we receive it, which account it should go to. So what's it called? I tested it and the fix that they made, and it was working just the way I wanted it to. And then when they tried to apply the patch, it wouldn't apply. Something had changed underneath it. So trying to get the developer to go back and fix whatever needs to be fixed. But
Rhonda, I
go ahead.
think I missed it, but what was the bug number that this or this request is under?
I wrote it down so that I would have the answer to that question. Hang on.
No.
This over here. You don't see how far behind in my emails I am. It is 31606 is the one I was talking about, where you'd be able to EDI order on next year's budget. Because if you don't do EDI, you can order on, you can set up next year's budget ahead of time, set it up now. If for us, October 1st is the new year. You can set it up now and then go order, you can, when you're ordering, you can just set, what we would do is create a basket of stuff that's going to be next year's order, or, come in next year, set up a basket, assign that to the fund of next year's thing. And as long as you're not EDI ordering, that all works great. Because I'm pretty sure Barbara is doing that at Bedford right now. But they don't do EDI ordering. So you could do that. But what happens is if you do EDI ordering, everything is great when you order, but then when it comes time to receive, you have no way of knowing which, well, actually, everything will get assigned to the most recent active budget is the way the code is written. So if you set that new thing up, then it'll work great for the stuff that you want for next year's budget. But if you order anything on this year's budget, it's going to go to next year's budget as well. Not what we want. We want to be able to say which budget we want that to go to. So that's what that was about.
A little bit limited. Do you know if they have plans to maybe update the EDI order portion of it?
Well, there's that bug number that I gave you is supposed to do that.
Oh, okay.
But
Gotcha.
it's stalled.
Okay. I just added myself to the bug and dropped a comment. So hopefully.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's good because I poked at, I think earlier today or yeah, I think it was today. It's either today or yesterday. I can't remember. And then, just to kind of get that, we paid for that. And so it's sort of annoying that we paid them and now nothing is happening. So I don't know if they'll come back and say we need more money or whatever. I don't know, but we'll see.
I have a question. I think I missed something.
Sure.
You were saying that before we roll over the unspent items that something had to be closed. Was it all the baskets or was it both budgets?
But baskets,
All the baskets.
yeah, anything that contains any basket, well, just for good measure, you should have all the baskets closed when you do the end of year rollover thing. So because we found out the hard way that if you have an item that hasn't been received and the basket was not closed, it will not roll into the next budget. So in order for the rollover to work, all the baskets have to be closed.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So if I can save somebody else the pain that we went through by saying that, ugh, that was so frustrating. Any other questions?
I have a quick one I forgot about that. I don't know if anyone else is experiencing this, but I think it was after we moved to Cloudflare when my drop down on the EDI accounts are now showing EANs, which are not pertinent, to my EDI ordering. So I put in a ticket with Bywater and they're like, oh, the EANs are showing up. Has anyone else experienced that?
I'm checking right now.
I don't think we did. Did we, Holly? I think it's still the account. It's that drop down that shows all the accounts is what you're talking about, Christy, right?
Correct. When you're about to order EDI and I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, why is this fund here? And she's saying I need to go into my ENs and delete them, but that made me nervous too, because I think we need those there. So
Yeah. Yeah, we've got the EANs in ours. That's strange. Because I don't think we noticed any difference.
well, I guess we have so many EDI accounts. I couldn't reach the ones at the bottom unless I adjusted, the font, like it went down to 80% or 60%. And then I'm like, why do I have all of these accounts here? What's different? And then Bywater had noticed that. So
That's different.
Yeah, the information for my EANs are in the drop down. That's concerning.
So Charlie, I don't know if you can, her response to me, it says those are coming from what you have set up in admin library EANs. They don't know which ones are valid. So we need to look through and delete any we don't need. But I think we need all those. I just don't
Right.
know why they're showing up in that area because that's not where they belong.
That seems more like a bug issue because that's never happened before. I'll create a ticket for on my side as well and just mention that. Which library system are you with again, Christy?
I'm with Monterey Public Library. And so I'll put my email in the chat as well. So if you have any information that you might be able to send that over.
Oh, definitely.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Okay. Well, we're 15 minutes over time, but I think it's been helpful. People have learned a few things, so that's good. It's what we're trying to do. So I think what we can do for next month is start from the place where we've got all of our budgets and funds set up. We didn't actually set up a fund today. It's very similar to setting up a budget. It's just you pick funds instead. And then, oh, what did I do? Funds. I think over here. Nope. Where do we? Oh, I do this every time. Budgets. I'm going here. And then under new, no, under edit, no, under planning. Okay, maybe we'll need to.
You were right, Rhonda. It's under new. And then you click new fund.
Oh, new fund. Okay. Yeah, see, I thought that was right. So new fund, and then you do the fund code and the fund name and the amount. And then if you want, you can fill out all these things. If you have questions, go back to that manual and it will tell you what they're doing. And then the only thing to be aware of is that whatever this adds up to, which is $14,000, has to be less than or equal to the total of your budget. So that's the only thing to pay attention to there, I think, or I won't say the only, but that's an important one to pay attention to.
Well, and that's a good feature because if you end up, it's a checks and balance for us, at least. If you end up going over your budget, you know, by mistake, then that'll just tell you, sorry, you can't do that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's a great sanity check, you know, accidentally type a number in wrong or something like that. It's good. So unless somebody has another idea that you want to email me for a topic, I think we'll just start with budgets, assuming budgets and funds in place, and then we will do some ordering. You know, setting up a basket, setting our vendors. I guess theoretically we should have our vendors set up already. So maybe we start with vendors and then we do basket and go through that stuff too. All right. Thanks everybody for coming and for your input. This is great to have the conversations. Love it. And we will, oh, wait, we will see you. Let me double check. For August, the 19th of August is our next meeting. So we will see you, if not before, at some other meeting, you on August 19th. Best wishes to everybody. Have a great rest of your summer. If you're like us, we've got a couple weeks of summer reading left to get through, and then August and hot. All right. We'll see everybody later then.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mhm.
Thank you.